Okay, we've got some friends coming round tonight. So there's the fire pit. There's a bedroom for them. Stove, a few chairs. And Mandy's cooked a little bit of chicken.
I've not cooked it yet.
No, she hasn't cooked it yet. But this is what she's preparing. Whoa. So yeah, that is the chicken. I've got a funny feeling we might have a bit too much.
No.
Right. Let's see what we've got here.
He's brought some oxo and water.
And she
I think you're better at this than
she plays guitar.
So we've got Lynn
Ladies
from
meeting,
Winsford, Linda from Devon-ish area,
Devon.
and Jenny has come all the way down to Devon and going all the way up to Dundee way, isn't it?
Yeah, to Barrow.
Well,
Wow.
another hour or so from Dundee, it's out in the sticks. Just
I'll go get some chairs and
Go get some chairs, Bucky. That's the thing. Have we having a game of volleyball?
Sounds a bit.
I haven't brought it with me. I thought we'll stick to playing kids because we win.
Here's the motley crew. Here they are. Look at this. This is Mark's first time out in a camper. He bought this camper for 300 quid. 300 quid. Here's Chrissy's. Hey, that looks flipping brand new, doesn't it? Goodness me. Hey. Come on, move, Jess, come here.
Got a brain, you'd be
Oh,
dangerous.
look at that on the back there.
He's had that butt on.
Yeah.
She wouldn't go near it because she obviously knows it's a hedgehog. And I'm like, get you doing? And she's like, I didn't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no hedgehog there. I'm like, look at the hedgehog. She wouldn't look at it at all. She's obviously
and they're black, and Lisa's black, and she's a long-haired cat. She blends in until she opens her eyes.
Okay folks, well we're just recovering from another major stormy session with this tent. So this is the OZTent RV2 and we've had it for about 10 months I think now, and I just thought it was time that we did a review on it because it's been remarkable. So we've positioned this tent. We get in autumn time across these fields here you get an incredibly powerful easterly wind, and I've positioned the tent with the back, which was obviously the sensible way of positioning the tent, with the back to the wind. If you look at the back here, that's obviously the way that you want it facing into the wind, is on the back there. But I've also had it positioned like this now for the last 3 nights I think, or 4. No, it's getting on for a week. It's getting on for a week where it's been up, and it's been slammed on this side here, and we've had it up in every kind of condition. We've had it up in torrential rain, you know, when the rain is literally hammering on the tent. And the reason why I'm doing a review on it, we're not a channel that does lots and lots of reviews, but the reason why we're doing a review is because it is so good. Okay, so I didn't even know about these kind of tents. I was just looking for an awning for the camper van here, you see, and I looked at various things, and the last thing I wanted was something that actually attaches to the van, because it just restricts you massively as to what you can do. Because sometimes you just want to go to the shop or whatever. You don't want to be undoing the thing from the van. So I wanted something that was, you know, far more flexible. And when I saw this, I actually saw these on Facebook Marketplace one day, and I just could not believe how well thought out they are. So what you actually get is this part of the tent here, which goes up in less than a minute. It folds flat like this, and you literally just pull the thing up like so, and the whole thing goes up in less than a minute. Then you've got this canopy, which is all part of that, just the top part, but then you can buy the sides. So I've got 3 sides that go with this. I've just got it open at the moment on these two sides, but once all the sides are on, we've had 6 or 7 people in here in winter with snow outside, toasty warm. It's looking a little bit disjointed at the moment because it was, for the last week it's been hammered, and I'm not trying to show it in its kind of perfect array. I'm just trying to show you a tent that really is, it's an exceptional tent. I would put it on the level in terms of build quality as any Hillyberg tent. Even these guy lines are really well thought out. They're just brilliantly thought out, and it's solid, folks. It's the word bomb-proof is used too much, but this tent will take such a hammering, it's unreal. You've got snow skirts around here, which is what I've done there. I even took one of the canopies there, zipped it onto there and brought it across to the tree there so that people could have a windbreak, and the fire pit was there. So we've used it for a communal kind of tent because the camper van's not that big, and you know, you don't want people coming in. We live in this full time. So, you know, when we have visitors, we always set the tent up. We have a fire pit, we have the log burner going, and we have some great times. Even in winter, it's totally usable. So, there's plenty of room to stand up. Even, this is the RV2, there's various ones. I think there's a 3, maybe a 4 as well. But it's, like I say, even with the side wind, this thing is, it's rock solid. You've got ventilation there, and so I've never had any condensation in it at all. The only disadvantage that I can see with this tent, we bought this second hand, it's in mint condition. The only disadvantage that I can see really is that the way that it kind of all folds up is in a long kind of tube, because the thing erects so quickly. That's the way that you do it. But I mean, this is just one of those things. A guy at church effectively gave me this car. He kept saying, "I've got a car for you, I've got an estate for you, you want to come and look at it?" And for a while I'd been thinking about getting an estate that I could sleep in the back of as another option from the camper van. As soon as I saw it, I couldn't believe it. So he gave me this at an incredibly cheap price, this car, but you can sleep, everything folds back. But the beauty is I can now back this up with the hatch up and back it straight into this area here. And so effectively what you'd have then is a sleeping area in the car that way. This is what they're meant for. RV means recreational vehicle. So you'd have your car there with your bed set up, a communal area here, and then another sleeping area there. And the configurations are so good because you can take the panels out and do what you want with it. I know it's a grim day. Probably should have done this on a better day. But because it's had such a hammering this last few weeks, I just thought it's time to do a review on it. We put this in, Mandy and myself, we fitted this ourselves, and I would recommend highly that I've seen them where they fitted them to this top canopy, but this top canopy rolls onto the tent. If you fit them in there, it's not going to look pretty when you try and roll it onto the tent. Plus, if you put it in your top canopy, it takes up too much room, it's in the middle. So we fitted it to the side and it works perfectly. Just got to make sure that you guy it out so that the tent doesn't touch the stove. Anyway, folks, yeah, this is basically our communal area. And we're not a channel that does a lot of reviews really, but I just thought this thing is so good, it's worth doing a review. So it's called the OZTent RV2. It's made of canvas, it's completely waterproof, and the state that you're seeing this in at the moment, it's been up for the last week, it's been hammered, and not over the last 10 months, not one drop of rain has entered this tent. We've had it up in hail, snow, crazy rain and terrible winds. So I totally recommend it, friends. If you're after something to go with your camper van or to go with your motorhome that's inconspicuous, it doesn't, you know, it's not one of those kind of firework tents that cries out, I'm here. It blends into any background really well. Then I would seriously consider getting one of these second-hand. Okay, so I've just put the other two panels on. So the front panel's on now and the side panel's on, and you can see how cozy it is. So this is the bed area, loads of room to get dressed, totally breathable, totally waterproof. And then that's the stove area there. I've seen people actually put the stove in there, but I don't know, I definitely wouldn't recommend that. I think probably that one of the side panels is best. If anything happens, if it gets ripped or whatever, you're just replacing a panel rather than the main tent. But yeah, I'll just show you a few more things with it which are really good. The wind's getting up again, and so this here, this part here, this panel also can be unzipped and brought right out here with another two poles. So you've got an even bigger awning if you want to. And the other great thing about this tent, which I really like, is this back panel here. You can unzip this, roll it all up, and you can lie there and look at the stars from inside the tent. We've got little pouches here for your guy lines. It's very, very well made, folks, and it can take a severe battering, I can promise you that. I would not be doing this review of this tent if I wasn't confident that it's a really tough tent. Snow skirts all the way around on this one, so it's proper for season. And like I say, we get easterly winds. The winds just change direction a bit, but we get easterly winds that batter it. And normally I get it set up so that the back end is here, and obviously that's much better for the wind. But because we've had this last week, we've had about 20 different people coming and visiting us at various times, I wanted it this way on, and what I did is I used this piece here and I brought it round to the tree there as a windbreak for the fire pit. So it's totally modular. The zips are excellent quality. Don't know what else to say apart from if you are in a situation where you, like ourselves, you're wondering about an awning, you're not quite sure which one to go for, have a look at these OZTents, folks, because they really are, they're built like a tank. It's lovely.